You know how it is. Every single morning, maybe before your feet even hit the floor, what's the first thing millions of us do? We reach for our phones. And not to call someone, right? Not to create something cool. We just scroll. It seems so normal, so harmless. But what if that one little act is actually part of this huge, kind of silent shift that's happening to all of us? So that's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to break down how this everyday tech is, well, rewiring our lives. All right, so first up, let's just talk about how deep this rabbit hole goes. I mean, over the past decade or so, technology didn't just show up in our lives. It's completely woven itself into, like, the fabric of everything we do. And here's the wild part. None of this happened by accident. Think about it. Social media platforms are basically in this huge battle for the one thing we can't get more of, our attention. And they've got this whole toolkit to grab it. You know, the constant pings from notifications, that little rush from getting a like, and of course, the endless scroll that just kind of sucks you in. It's all designed super carefully to keep you hooked. And wow, is it working? Get this. The average person in the US now spends several hours a day on their phone. Just let that sink in for a second. Several hours every single day. That's time that could be going toward, I don't know, literally anything else. Okay, and this is where it gets really fascinating. For so many of us, this isn't even a conscious choice anymore. It's just automatic. It's this deep-seated habit. We don't think, I think I'll check my phone now. We just do it without even thinking. So what's the big deal? Where does all this lead? Well, being plugged in all the time has consequences that go way beyond just wasting a few hours. We're really only just beginning to scratch the surface of the hidden effects this is having on our brains. And you can really see the before and after here. Our brains used to be okay with just being still, with quiet. Now it's like they're being totally rewired. All that constant digital noise creates a situation where our brain actually starts to crave more and more input. And that makes it almost impossible to focus on just one thing for very long. And it's not just about our attention spans either. The research is pretty clear. It's linking all this screen time to some really serious stuff. We're talking about higher levels of anxiety, completely messed up sleep, and weirdly enough, a deep sense of loneliness. Which brings us to this huge, ironic twist, right? We live in a world that is more connected than ever before. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, instantly. And yet, so many of us feel more disconnected than ever. From each other, from the world that's literally right there in front of our eyes. So why is it so hard to just put the phone down? I mean, is it just a lack of willpower? Are we failing somehow? Well, no. It turns out the reason it's so tough to unplug isn't an accident. It's actually part of the plan. You see, a lot of the apps we use every day are built around this idea from behavioral psychology called variable rewards. And it's the exact same thing that makes slot machines in Vegas so addictive. You pull the lever or, swipe your thumb, and you have no idea what you're going to get. And this creates this incredibly powerful, addictive loop. So check it out. Step 1, you do the thing, you scroll. Step 2, you get a reward, but it's unpredictable. Maybe it's a hilarious video, a cool picture, a message you were waiting for. And then step 3, because you never know what you'll find, that randomness keeps you coming back for more. It just reinforces that habit over and over and over again. Look, obviously, these technologies have some amazing benefits. We're not denying that. But we really have to be honest about the trade-offs. What is the real human cost of spending so much of our one life staring at a glowing rectangle? And when you look at it this way, the picture it paints is, well, it's pretty stark. Think about it. Those moments that used to be real, uninterrupted conversations, now they're chopped up by notifications. Those quiet moments where you could just think, they're instantly filled by the next scroll. So we end up being there physically, but our minds are a million miles away. We're making memories that just feel kind of half-lived. And that right there, that is the ultimate cost. It's time. It is the one resource that is completely non-refundable. You can never, ever get it back. And every single minute we spend lost in distraction, that precious, limited resource is just slipping away. Okay, but listen, this isn't all doom and gloom. Not at all. Because just being aware of this stuff is the first massive step toward making a change. So for this last part, let's talk about solutions. How can we start to take back our attention and our lives? And here's the key thing to remember. The goal is not to throw your phone in a river and go live in a cave. That's not realistic, and it's not even what we want. The real challenge here, and also the real opportunity, is to shift from just mindlessly consuming to mindfully using this stuff. It's all about taking back the controls. And the way you get that control back, it's through a bunch of small, deliberate choices, like actively deciding, hey, the phone goes away during dinner, or being absolutely ruthless and turning off all those notifications that don't really matter, and just choosing to let a quiet moment be, well, quiet. These little things, they really do add up to have a huge impact. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple idea. The tech we carry around is absolutely incredible, but we just have to remember that the most important, the most meaningful connections we will ever have, they're never going to happen through a screen. They happen right here, face to face.